All right, so we're going to talk about writing resumes today. So, for the do now, the initial amount of time an employer takes to review an applicant's resume, it's usually only like 6 seconds. Okay, so there's a misconception that a lot of employers will read everything through your resume. It's really just a skimming. They're going to be looking for a couple keywords and see if you are a good fit for the company. So why do you need a resume? It's a marketing tool. This is the only way that they really know a company will know about you until they bring you in to interview. Obviously, if your resume isn't any good, you're not going to be able to get an interview. All right. So this is all a company knows about you until they are interested enough and think you are one of the best applicants and want to interview you. It's to obtain an interview, not a job. What I mean by that is with your resume, you aren't going to be offered a job off of it. Okay. So this is going to give you the chance to be able to interview for the position. With that being said, you don't want to have your resume be fake and have information that's not true because when you interview, you're going to have to explain everything that's on your resume. So it's important that you remember the resumes to get an interview, not a job. Um, it's a requirement of many organizations because that's how they want to get to know you. Obviously, a lot of your part-time jobs that you guys might get to start out with won't ask for a resume, but applying for internships, applying for colleges, sometimes applying to get um, you know scholarships, things like that, you're going to have a resume too. So the hidden messages of a resume, like I said, a resume is going to represent who you are to them until they interview you. So obviously, you want your resume to be neat, well organized, error-free, professional. They're going to want someone who has um, all of those attributes. So they want to see this through your resume that you're detail oriented, that you know how to organize your thoughts and all that kind of stuff. All right. If it's just scattered, if it's, everything's a different font or everything's a different color, or, you talk about your experiences and then your education and then more experiences or stuff like that. Um, an employer's not going to be not going to be interested in that. So the sections of the resume, the first is the header. Obviously, your name, address, email address, telephone number. You want to be able to give them any type of way that they can get in touch with you. All right. So most people nowadays will just email or call you, but there still are those companies that will um, mail you your interview um, date and invitation. Actually, Manchester, when I was applying to work at the school just a couple of years ago, they sent things through the mail. So it's not as common, but companies still do that around here. So as you see here, you want your name big and bold so that they know who you are. Then you can put in your address, telephone number, email address, keep it all the same font, keep it all the same size, all that kind of stuff. All right, so objective statements. The purpose of it is to communicate the type of position you are interested in. Okay, so as we're going to talk about in a second, these objective statements basically you just want to say like what you want to do, what kind of position you would like to have, management trainee position, technical sales with an energy related industry. You know, it's just kind of a broad idea of what kind of job you'd like to complete. You put that obviously right underneath your contact information and who you are. Now, a lot of things will tell you not to put an objective statement. I don't use an objective statement, and I would suggest that you don't use one either. What's going to happen is you're going to apply for different positions, different scholarships, different whatever, and all objective statements might not necessarily fit. Okay, if you don't change that for each one, then it might not, it might not be relevant, and they'll be like, that doesn't make any sense. We're not going with that candidate. Another thing is if another position is open that they think you might be interested in or you might be good at, um, and your objective statement is too specific or doesn't fit, they're going to be like, okay, well, this person probably won't want this job. We don't want them to interview. So it's optional objective statements. I would recommend staying away from it. So then you're going to talk about your education. So you kind of your education, you go with what was your last education, basically. So once I graduate college, I'm not going to keep my high school education on there, but you guys will be putting your high school education on there. Once graduate college, then you're going to have your college. If you get a master's, you'll put that on there, all that kind of stuff, but you're going to want to put uh, what schools you went to. But like I said, once you graduate college, you're really not going to keep your high school um, education on there. It's just because they're probably not really interested in where you went to high school. Now you have a higher level of education. So include the city and state. Um, you might be applying, in different states, in parts of the different parts of the state where they might not know where exactly your school is from. Um, the degree, what you studied, um, all that kind of stuff. So you obviously want to have what you accomplished last first. So if I'm in college or if I'm attending college, that's going to be the first thing on my list. Okay, I'm not going to have high school and then where I'm going to college now because they want to see whatever is the most impressive. They want to see that first. Okay, so if you get a master's, you're going to have that first.